there, we can now bring in our international affairs editor, Angela Diffley. Angela, a lot of things happening over the past hour or so here in France. It's really unprecedented, isn't it, that Éric Ciotti would even suggest getting into the bed with the far right?
Yeah, Clovis saying that this has been a red line all the time. This is Nicolas Sarkozy's old party, as he said. Ciotti is banking on the fact that ordinary voters out there in the country who do frequently say, when they are spoken to by MPs, you know, why don't the people on the right get together? I would vote for you. Of course, very many also say, if you do get to the right, I won't vote for you. But he presumably has done his sums. Yes, some big names in the Républicain party will leave, will position themselves. There is a lot of very ugly mudslinging going on down there where Clovis is. It's not a happy meeting, but he has probably done his sums and worked out that this will garner votes and that it is the right thing to do in terms of his people getting their seats. If you look at the programmes between the mainstream right, Ciotti's Les Républicains party, and the Rassemblement National, there isn't an awful lot of difference since
So it's
Marine
unfair
Le
to call
Pen.
them centre-right as well. They should be called right-wing.
It's people's labels depend very much on where they position themselves. I think it's very much to do with, as Clovis talked about, the history behind them. For very many people, the Rassemblement National and very many people within the mainstream right think that they will forever be tainted by the fact that this party is rooted in the ideas of Jean-Marie Le Pen, the father of Marine Le Pen, who ousted him from the party. But for many people, it will be forever tainted by that, and it will always be a step too far. It is less about their manifestos and their programmes, because since Marine Le Pen backed down on France leaving the European, backed down on France leaving the Euro, there are differences, of course there are, but they're not as big as all that. And if you look at very many of the issues which are now in the Rassemblement National manifesto, not long ago they were mainstream right-wing policies. So it's much less about policy, it's more about a gut reaction. And very many people cannot stomach this. And of course, very many senior people in the mainstream right are positioning themselves for the presidentials when they will say, we had nothing to do with this, because they are convinced that any alliance with the Rassemblement National will just expose that the Rassemblement National are amateurish and will not be able to deliver.
That's a risky bet they're taking. And clearly, Éric Ciotti is doing this because we even saw the Socialist Party doing so well on Sunday based on the 2022 presidential and even National Assembly vote. I want to talk about the alliance on the left side of the political spectrum here in France, because there has been an alliance that was announced last night, but that's not ironclad, is it?
It isn't. And you say they did well. They did well compared to a dismal showing in 2022.
1.7%, yeah.
After the 2022 presidential elections, the far left really were the dominant force on the left in France. And the veteran campaigner Jean-Luc Mélenchon, who has a bit of name recognition outside of France, he was the person calling the shots. That's not the case this time. The person who did best on the left is Raphael Glucksmann, who could even be described as left of centre, certainly centre-left. He has clear red lines, and he at one point was reported today he had walked out of any negotiations for a grouping together. It's a bit unclear what's going on right now. But he feels, and his people feel, that he should be the dominant force and his ideas should be the dominant force. So they need to work all that out. It's still not unclear. We were told it was all wrapped up. It clearly isn't. So that's what's going on the left. We're saying that this dissolution, 66% of the French people from the far left, less so, but still 50%, if you look at polls today, right through to the far right, are pleased with this decision by Macron, but he has taken the most gigantic gamble.
A risky bet. We'll see what happens. Thank you very much for that, Angela Diffley there.